Our demographic of clients has actually very much changed. We are having a lot more people who probably 4 years ago would never hire a personal injury attorney calling us. For 20 years, there has been a marketing campaign against using your own insurance, right? Acting against your own interests, paying for but don't use it because, what kind of person would file a personal injury lawsuit or hire a lawyer? A lot of what I do day in and day out is educating millions of Floridians who are not understanding why after the person they voted for got into office, they pass all this legislation. It is financially so hard
and
to
it hurts them. And I see a lot of your social media, and a lot of people would assume that you're a super left progressive, but you're a registered Republican.
I am.
Hey, this is Bob Simon, the host of Bourbon and Proof. This tour we couldn't do without our sponsors. Even Up, Justice HQ, Attorney Share, Move Docs, Coastal Research, Trio, Libra, LegalX, Law Pods, Strategy, and of course, Law Firm Rides, providing transportation for clients and lawyers nationwide. Even Up is an artificial intelligence platform that automates a lot of the mundane tasks that lawyers and law firm staff do, from demand letters to running playbooks to opening up claims, ordering police reports, and doing those so you can spend more quality time with your clients in the courtroom or in their living room. We also have Attorney Share. Attorney Share is a product to be able to have lawyers find more cases in their wheelhouse to help clients without having to have the market spend that's out there, and also tracking all of your referrals in one place. It integrates with all the major case management platforms, and it allows lawyers to really better serve their clients and also refer out clients in other jurisdictions and practice areas and be able to monetize all of that goodwill that they put in. Other sponsors, Justice HQ. Justice HQ is a mobile app bringing together all the community in the legal field, from vendors to staff to paralegals. They have their own masterminds. They have our podcasts are on there. Other lawyers' podcasts are on there. On-demand education, every event in the industry, and you have direct access to the best of the best. And of course, Coastal Research. Coastal Research helps all of us injury lawyers find out the insurance limits through investigation that's on the other side. Whether you know it or not, they're not required to in many states to tell you how much insurance there is for the person that catastrophically harmed your clients. But Coastal Research is able to do it very quickly and efficiently for you. They have an actual technology platform that's so easy to use and pushes the data back and forth. We only let people sponsor the show if we use their products and believe in them.
Welcome to this episode of Bourbon and Proof, where we interview those who have been both successful at law and life, and we're coming in front of a live audience here in Savannah, Georgia at Hop Atomica. Everybody that's here for Hop Atomica, round of applause. The heart of Savannah. And we always, of course, we have our esteemed co-host who flew in this morning from Los Angeles, yes. Mauro Fiore Jr.
Thank you very much. Nice to be here, Bob. We had to take a red eye because of Bob's scheduling.
Yeah, grow up. All right. Well, first, can we start a drink off? We have something delicious that the house made.
Is that right?
Yeah.
What is that? I'm always interested
can you
in a
describe
drink.
what we're drinking here today?
Thank you. Yeah, it's our cucumber refresher. It's our house-made vodka, and then we also did a cucumber-infused vodka, lemon juice, and simple with mint in there. So nice and refreshing.
Thank you.
Yeah, so they make their own spirits here, which we'll be sampling out throughout the night. But I think you brought something for us. We'll trade.
I did.
Okay, so tell us what you got here.
So being from Northeast Florida, St. Augustine is the oldest city in America, and I thought I'd bring something local and bring you a little bit of the St. Augustine Distillery bourbon. So I hope you guys can enjoy that.
St. Augustine is the oldest city in the United States, correct?
Correct.
I've been there. It's all like cobblestone streets and
Yes.
whatnot. Yeah, it's very cool.
It's the Savannah and St. Augustine go back and forth about which is more haunted. I'm going to go with Savannah. Don't tell the Floridians I said that. But this place is pretty spooky after hours,
We're
just
talk
so you
about
guys
that.
know.
So this is a cool little tool. So brass melts into ice. So if you ever notice all the cool little logos, like they have one here for Hip Hop Atomica, I'm going to stamp Mauro with the Simon Law Group Justice Team logo for his ice to give you extra power because you have 3 or 4 episodes that you got to make it through. And then some
It
ghost
really does
expos.
melt it.
It's incredible.
Watch. There it is. There's the logo. Sure enough.
It's beautiful.
That's amazing. Look at that.
And now we shall pour. All right.
Cheers.
All right.
Cheers.
Thank you for having me.
Street lawyers and street justice.
Cheers.
That's
Oh,
good.
yeah. That is good. That's very good.
So Shannon came in this morning from Jacksonville, where you reside.
Correct.
Run a practice of both criminal law and personal injury, but more dedicated to helping out kids, advocacy. I can't even talk, and it's been one drink.
Yeah,
I feel like the president.
Yes, so my law partner and I are both experts in juvenile law, and we've really parlayed that to focus on helping children, families, bereaved parents, and of children and young adults in their most devastating times. And then we also represent kids who get arrested, which is interesting. It's very interesting. We love doing the work. We're big believers in the Constitution and protecting all of our clients' constitutional rights. So it's just something that we kind of fell into. We didn't intend to get into juvenile law, but we've really utilized that expertise as much as possible.
You know, I am an expert in being juvenile.
Well, I'm an expert in Juvenile, the musical artist, so we can talk later.
That was my joke.
Oh, sorry.
Gosh, darn it. Yeah,
Gotta
so
be quick.
I mean, you're a working mom, right? And what was your maiden name?
So I didn't change my name. I'm a big proponent in keeping that name.
Neither did my wife. My wife's still Christine Bullock, so I get it.
Yeah.
My wife too. She didn't change her name.
Well, I get that, but
You know, being from
She should be so
Jacksonville,
lucky.
what's your married name?
Ranka.
Because you have a what's it called? It's your blog.
Correct. So I'm Mrs.
Rain-
Make It Ranka. Ranka was low-hanging fruit for a really good website name. My husband was actually a realtor, and he went to law school because during 2007, the real estate market wasn't very hot. So he went to law school, and when he opened his own firm, I was like, you got to make your domain Make It Ranka, of course. That's easy. And so because I didn't change my name, my husband's one of 7, and my mother-in-law had some thoughts about me not changing my name. And I was like, you know what, as a respect to my husband, I will name my blog Mrs. Make It Ranka, and my son's social media is Little Make It Ranka. So it's a family event.
How old's your son now? 9-ish?
He's 9. He's 9. Yeah, he's such a great kid. We were just talking about this. He skateboards. His teachers are very convinced he will be an attorney, as he is attorney work product. And
He's attorney work product. I like that.
we have a lot of fun with him.
Was he conceived under privilege?
Yes, absolutely.
Wow.
We had the whole shirt as well. We marked him as work product from a very early age. But yeah, no, he's great. He's a blessing. I would have a million more, but don't think it's in the cards for us. So, my husband actually had cancer 3 years ago. He was diagnosed, and so we found out why we don't have more children. And it's, we're just very grateful. I'm very grateful that I get to do what I love. I get to be a mom and get to be a wife. So it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, and so we thought we weren't able to have kids for a long time, so our first daughter is adopted. And we were talking about this in the flight in because one of our executive producers around here somewhere has a freshie, like 2.5 months old. And I was saying with our adopted daughter, I was able to actually breastfeed, or not breastfeed, but do the feedings at night because she didn't breastfeed.
Yeah.
And that was my time. But it's like you can't help your mom otherwise with our natural babies. Like you can't help,
Yeah, have we connected about the fact that I am actually adopted?
Oh, I'm not.
Yes, I'm adopted. I was adopted as a newborn and had a huge impact on me my whole life. Like I never knew anything about my biological parents except for very little information. They were super young. They were, college students, and I was born in Orlando. And when I was 35, I met my biological family.
Wow.
Yeah, it was really cool.
Did you always know you were adopted?
Yes, I did. And I read that Steve Jobs also had a similar experience where he was told that he was chosen. So my parents very much instilled that same sentiment in me, that I was special because I was adopted. So I told everybody I was adopted. And to make a very, very long story short, my biological grandparents' best friends were the only people outside of the biological families who knew that I was adopted. And I went to a very small Episcopal grade school where my son now goes. And on my first day of pre-K4, that family's daughter was in my class. And they took one look at me and they saw everybody's birthdays on the wall. And they were like, that is Ed and Susie's daughter or granddaughter. So my biological parents knew where I was, who I was. They knew everything about me for 35 years. I had no idea. And I'm glad it all worked out. I got to meet everybody. But it's wild. It's so weird being adopted. And my friend Laura, who's also an attorney in California, she said to me, in your tapestry of life, it was important that you knew the story. And I stand by that. You know, I have an amazing relationship with my parents, who are the parents who adopted me. And my biological parents are incredible people. I have so much respect for them. And it certainly didn't change my relationship with my parents at all to know, but knowing was helpful for my mental health.
Yeah, and we had to go through all courses, and they teach you to open adoption, make sure you talk about it, the chosen.
Yeah.
It's good for stuff like that.
Yeah.
But we've been gradually letting our daughter learn things about her birth parents. She's one of 7, so she's a bunch of half siblings. And we found she has a relationship with one. She's actually met one when she was a newborn, doesn't know yet, but we show her pictures of him for the first time because he's the oldest. He's like 18 or 19, and she's the youngest at 8, but they have 7. Wild.
Yeah.
But yeah, and it's just we give her pieces at a time, but I saved all their little stories and like have a bunch of photos, so when she's ready she can learn.
Yeah, that's amazing. And that's such a gift to be able to tell her full story. So very cool.
Yeah, but it was actually a few weeks ago, and she just out of nowhere, because I tell her a bedtime story, and she was just like, she asked something about her birth parents or something. I was like, and I texted my wife, I was like, Christy, can you come in here real quick? Because I had a few drinks. I don't want to mess this one up.
Yeah.
So she came in and did a beautiful job, and it was
Yeah.
great. So first of all, you have to drink on this show. So you have to finish each one. This is how we do things here, Miss Shaw.
I will.
Okay. We want to give a shout out to our sponsors here on the Bourbon Approved Tour. We're doing Savannah and then Charleston for 2 nights at the Southeast Swig. Of course, we have Even Up. Even Up does automation of your pre-litigation practice, your litigation, and automate your demand letters. Look, it's right there on the microphone. Shout out, Mauro and I are good friends with one of the co-founders, Ray, who's been on the show now twice.
Yep.
Also, we have Justice HQ, the community-driven app, the mobile app. We have Attorney Share, where you can automate sending out referrals, receiving referrals, tracking the status of your cases. We'll learn from Shannon how she gets a lot of outreach through social media and the things that she's doing, and help everybody all at the same time. We also have Coastal Research, who does your policy limit traces. So they're actually local. Mauro I'm trying to trace those genetics. You just sprayed my face with that sneeze. And we also have Legal X, who will be on the show throughout the night. Consulting company. They're fantastic for lawyers and law firms. They have some cool swag that we have around here. We have Move Docs, who helps your concierge service for medical legal treatment. Oasis.
Bob, did you know that LegalX brought shirts, but
And hats.
they didn't bring any double X?
I actually brought a double X just for you, my friend.
Well, I'm a bigger man, as you can see, and the X just doesn't fit me right,
I got a couple double X's for you. We'll try it out. So tell us about what it's like to practice in Florida, North Florida. I mean, it's a lot different. We're in Southern California. I assume it's a lot different.
Well, Jacksonville, for those of you who are in the personal injury business, you may not know this. We have so much PI litigation that happens in Duval County, Florida. Duval is really a plaintiff-friendly jurisdiction, and the lawyers in Jacksonville, I'm actually president right now of the American Justice Association affiliate in Jacksonville, which is the Jacksonville Justice Association. And we have just incredible lawyers who are trying a lot of cases all the time. Our jurors are excellent. They get a lot of great results. So it's fun, right?
Aren't the Morgan & Morgan guys from Jacksonville?
They're from
Orlando.
Orlando. So it's Farah & Farah is one of the big firms. And then the Pagics, who recently got a $1.1 billion verdict in our jurisdiction. So, there's a lot of opportunity for trial lawyers to do what we do best. And it's incredible, the results that people have gotten. And so it's a lot of fun, like number one. But it's constantly a battle. There's a reason that Ron DeSantis came and announced his tort reform bill in Jacksonville. And so, we have had to adapt, but I'll tell you what, I think that there are going to be unintended consequences for the insurance companies and especially the defense firms, because after some really devastating tort reform in 2023, we responded as a bar and as a profession by filing, I think the count was ultimately 200,000 lawsuits.
And that's what in
7 days.
It said if you file the lawsuits before the law kicks in, you're retroactively to the new law. So everybody filed lawsuits.
Exactly.
Just
Yep.
inundated the court system.
Yep. And it was wild because our legislation always takes effect July 1st, after the session. And the way that they wrote this bill, they announced it on February 14th. It was signed into law on March 23rd. So a lot of lawyers didn't really understand what was going to happen. And so everyone in the profession was working together, collaborating to make sure that everybody knew, like, you have to file your lawsuits now to get locked in. And a lot of, really amazing AI tools like Even Up were being utilized to stay ahead of that.
And that's what I think it was Matt Morgan was discussing, how they had to file so many lawsuits at Morgan & Morgan is they had to develop and use AI to file them as fast as they could, because you had a short window.
Yeah. First of all, Matt Morgan is one of my favorite humans. We went to law school together. He's good people, whole Morgan family. But
What was the change that in 23? What was the tort reform?
so there were 4 major elements. The most devastating was our statute of limitations went from 4 years to 2 years. And also they got rid of bad faith. They removed statutory bad faith from our law, and they really eliminated all responsibility on an insurance company to settle when they should and could. And so our bad faith litigation has completely changed. There were a couple other elements to that.
So of course, when they did that, the insurance rates went down and everything was peachy toasty, right?
Yeah. No, my insurance just went from $548 a month to $670 a month.
Yeah.
Yeah, for my $100,000 of UM. That's what we're dealing with. And I think, like I said, there's going to be unintended consequences. Our demographic of clients has actually very much changed. We are having a lot more people who probably 4 years ago would say, I would never hire a personal injury attorney, calling us. And I talk about this with a lot of the people in my office who are not familiar with the practice, that for 20 years, there has been a marketing campaign against using your own insurance, right? Acting against your own interests, paying for but don't use it, because what kind of person would file a personal injury lawsuit or hire a lawyer to sue another person? And so a lot of what I do day in and day out is educating millions of Floridians who are not understanding why, after the person they voted for got into office, they passed all this legislation. It is financially so hard
And
to
it hurts
live.
them.
They're
that's not what
hurting.
we're supposed to. And and I see a lot of your social media, and a lot of people would assume that you're a super left progressive, but you're a registered Republican.
I am. I actually was a political science major.
Same.
I
Criminal
registered.
justice, I did a little.
Yeah, I did that as well. I registered as a Republican in 2021, I believe, or 2001. Sorry. How old am I? When I was 18 years old, and I believe in a lot of the hallmarks of the Republican Party, but I talked to a lot of people who work for Republican elected officials, and at this point, I feel very strongly that I have been left behind by the Republican Party, and I think a lot of Floridians, particularly, are starting to feel that way.
Oh, yeah, because you want government out of your life, small government.
Yep.
Right.
I like the Constitution.
Yes.
I love the First Amendment. I love all the amendments, and I would just like them to, honor them.
Be applied.
Yeah.
Mauro, can we taste another one from Atomica here? Oh yeah, that one. This is one. So we get the list before we come to these places, and they make their own spirits here, and this is one I've been interested to try.
And also, can we give a shout out to their branding? Their branding is beautiful.
Yeah. Well, I was talking to them earlier, and in order to sell bourbon here, they have to actually make it here. The liquor
in the state
law,
of Georgia?
Yeah, the liquor law is if you're a distillery, you can only sell what you distill here. So they actually make their own agave drinks. They make gin. They make vodka. They make bourbon. So it's pretty amazing. They make it in house. So
Yeah. they have
This is a
amazing
straight bourbon whiskey, 92 proof, all American oak aged, and it's here from.
But they do it in vermouth barrels. Did you see that?
Oh, this one, yeah.
Yeah.
Sweet vermouth barrels.
let's see. This might taste good.
So sweet vermouth is the red kind. The yellow's the dry kind. It's just even remember.
Oh.
Look at that.
This might be good.
We already talked about the fact that I don't drink vermouth. I'm more of a Beth Dutton type of vodka drinker.
Double Tito's, 3 olives. Martinis have vermouth and are enjoyed with friends. I don't like vermouth. And these aren't my friends.
Oh, I get that reference now. He doesn't even cheers me, this guy. He's so rude.
Was it good?
Cheers. Oh, very good.
Cheers.
I have beat you guys to the punch. Now a lot
that's very good.
of what I know about Jacksonville comes from being a Ryan Adams fan.
Okay.
Because Ryan Adams, the singer's from Jacksonville, and he has an album called Jacksonville Skyline that's like one of my favorite all-time albums. Have you ever heard it?
No, but I've heard his 1989 cover of Taylor Swift's
It's
album.
fucking amazing.
He's a very good artist.
Yeah, he's from Jacksonville, and the name of his band is like the Jacksonville
Jaguars.
Jacksonville Dukes, I think is the name of his band. I don't know. He got mixed up, and he was really popular and super cool, but he got mixed up in some bullshit and kind of got canceled.
Well, I'll tell you, if
for-
you
But he's
like,
I
great.
don't know who this person is.
Ryan Adams, you know Ryan Adams? He's
I mean,
fucking
I know
amazing.
was he
Ryan
married?
Adams.
He's married Mandy Moore, right?
He was married to Mandy
Oh.
Moore, and then she said
I
he
know.
like might have,
So Mandy,
abused her a
Mandy
little
Moore
bit.
lived right next door to one of my good friends in Altadena. And he's
That's
my
where
best, my investigator Carlos, and shout out to Carlos IPEC. They do all of our best investigation. Their homes all burned down in Altadena.
Oh, that's
Mandy
terrible.
Moore's just went through her backyard, but it was crazy. But he was, decimated the entire.
Well, she definitely has a type because Ryan Adams would be a singer-songwriter, kind of emotional, music type of guy, and so she left
He
him.
likes suicide ballad.
Yeah,
rock.
that kind of
yeah.
shit that he write, the same shit. So she was single for a little while, and now she's married to this guy Taylor Goldsmith, who's the lead singer for Dawes, which is exactly like Ryan Adams' band.
Okay.
So she has the same type of guy she likes.
So he's amazing. Again, the Taylor Swift 1989 cover that he does.
He recorded her entire album and put it out. He
Yes.
put out the whole 1989 album.
But how's
Yeah.
do you have to have a licensing agreement?
No,
with them?
and you can cover any record you want. You can cover any song. You
It's-
can't
it's
use
awesome.
their song,
It's
but you
awesome.
can cover it. Like I could make my own album of Taylor Swift songs today and put it out.
We need an IP
As long as
lawyer.
I sing them and I play it. But you can, it's called a mechanical license. You can license any song you want. You just have to pay royalties. You can't license their version of it. You can't sample them, but you can play any song.
How is that?
It's
I'm calling bullshit.
I know.
Well,
we gotta loop in a PI attorney on
Nope.
this, or
I know a lot
IP
about
attorney.
I know a lot about the music stuff.
No, you sound like you do, but I'll tell you, if you
It's
like,
called a mechanical license. You can look it up.
if you like
Mechanical
good
license.
music, there's a band from Jacksonville that Yellow Card and this band called Inspection 12 were like the bands when I was in high school. They like played our homecomings. Yellow Card played my homecoming when I was in high school, and their Inspection 12, I think objectively was the better band. Their drummer died, super tragic. But if you ever get a chance, I think they're on Apple Music. Inspection 12.
I will listen to it.
I think Photograph, the album that has Photograph, is one of the best.
I'll
So
listen to
you
that.
should check it out.
Yeah, so I want to turn back towards your leadership now in AAJ in Jacksonville. I looked before you were on the advertising committee.
Oh, I'm still on the advertising committee.
tell me about that.
Oh my
I wanna-
god,
I
it's
wanna
my
ask you
favorite
about that.
committee.
Yeah.
So Florida Bar is Florida does not have reciprocity like California, right? And
Yeah.
I think New York as well. So nobody's.
Nevada doesn't either.
Oh, really? Okay. So
New
like,
York has reciprocity.
They do?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, California and Florida don't, and Florida does not want new lawyers coming in, and they don't want non-lawyer owners, and we are very particular about advertising. So obviously, if you drive down any highway in Florida,
Oh, yeah.
you're going to see a million
I'm
billboards.
the best #1 billion.
Yes, exactly. And so there's a federal law that basically prevents us from censoring any speech unless it's misleading the public or objectively not verifiable. And so we have some of the best. Look, I will serve on this committee as long as it will take me. I'm currently the vice chair. We have the most hilarious conversations. Case on point, we recently had a conversation about whether or not big dick energy is an attitude or if it's literal. And so we spent.
Oh, it's an attitude.
Right, it's an
Yeah,
attitude. That's what I said. And
For me, it's literal.
right. Well, and so we were split as a committee, but there was a firm in Tampa that ran an ad saying that they had big CK energy, which was very clearly big dick energy, and so they sent like an 80-year-old partner of the firm to tell us that that's not what they meant, and I was like, sir, you have been lied to.
Yeah.
That's absolutely what was happening here, and
Was the main partner named Richard at least?
No.
Oh.
But they're just like two very good-looking former football players, and they knew what they were doing. We, as a committee, are not arbiters of taste. However, we did have to decide whether it was objectively verifiable, and thankfully, an attitude does not have to be objectively verifiable. So I swayed the committee.
I mean, that's more of
there's
like
an
a
attitude.
fun ad to run. But
Yeah.
so we were dealing in California with a lot of these same issues, and we were modeling some of the statute that we're hoping to pass off of Florida's with non-ownership and having a committee to be. So I was just interested to see what you guys see.
No, and it's incredible because our advertising handbook, we have the rules regulating the Florida bar. They're probably this thick. The handbook is probably this thick. And there's a lot that goes into advertising, and
But
ultimately
does the Florida bar give a shit?
they care.
Because the
very
California bar doesn't
much.
That's
give
our
a
problem in
shit
California.
about
We had to
it.
almost
They
write in a
care
private
very
right of
much.
action because
Yeah.
California bar ain't going to do anything.
The California bar is not going to do anything to anybody for doing anything. You can run wild.
Well, it's all down to dollars.
And people do.
Yeah, no, they will sanction you. It is a monetary cost. It's $250 a day for any ad that's run that was not compliant. There's a presumption of compliance. So some firms, not going to name names, there was a firm that was running a national campaign talking about size, and a lot of people didn't like that campaign.
But if they're running a campaign about size mattering and they're 5'2", it's kind of like,
Well, what's interesting is if you don't complain about it, if you don't send it to the Florida bar, they're not going to do anything. But if you send it to them and they feel that it's not compliant, I mean, there's a whole ass
but do
committee
they send
about
it to you as the committee? Do you get there first, or they? No more
hold,
drinky,
please.
less talky. This is Mauro's the drink police,
So the staff reviews it first, and then we review it for compliance.
What's the craziest ad that you've seen?
I think the Big Dick Energy was pretty
good.
wild. But I mean, there's some of them are just goofy, where they're just saying like wild stuff. They try to bring in celebrities. I didn't know who a former NBA player was, and I was like, that guy's not a celebrity. I don't know who he is. And basically, the committee let a firm run an ad with a straight up celebrity just because none of us knew who he was.
So who was it?
It was, oh God, he was a former Magic player. And I realized later I absolutely knew who this
Anthony
guy
Hardaway, Penny Hardaway.
was. No,
Shaq
no,
O'Neal.
Shaq O'Neal.
Carson something? I don't know. I have to Google it. But no, I mean, we see really funny stuff. And then when we have to talk about the fact that this firm has sued us before, and we have to kind of like be careful with our decisions.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, but I mean, look, lawyers, right? Like they know what the Florida bar can and can't do. And at the end of the day, the Florida bar can do very little regulation, but they will try. I had, I'm just going to tell this story because I feel like it's good content. Hold on one second.
Yes, drink.
Okay, so
Tell stories.
we've connected on social media because I like to yap, and I've gotten quite the following on TikTok. And my most viral video was a video about me not signing a waiver. So sorry that I signed a waiver today to my followers. But I
You
made
signed a waiver?
I did. I signed a waiver.
You probably signed a release so we
a
can
release.
like,
Oh yeah, not a
so
waiver.
we can like chop this up on AI and
Yeah, we're AIing
do all
you.
kinds of stuff.
So this is like a very poignant conversation.
Yeah, because I want to know what the social media is going to tie into all this advertising stuff, and I want to know.
So here's the thing. I think they asked me to be on the committee for the Florida bar because I'm very plugged into social media. I love social media. I find it so fascinating. And especially platforms like TikTok. Instagram used to be easier to connect with the community, but TikTok, like you can build a community so fast and it's incredible. So I got on this committee, and so I can't really like talk about advertising in my capacity as a committee member, but here's what I can tell you. I made a video that went viral. I feel strongly that if a property owner wants me to sign an exculpatory waiver where if my kid dies, that I'm going to sign my kid's life away, literally and figuratively, that's on them to get me to sign the valid waiver, right? Like, it is not my job to waive all of my rights. If you want me to do that, then you need to sit me down and get me to agree. So I made a video about adhesion contracts and how, like, they're not allowed under the law, but in some situations they're permissible, and how I never sign it for my kid. And Scary Mommy, which is a blog, reposted my video. And the way that they reposted it, I remember I was like in Nashville and I read their content and I was like, oh shit, the Florida bar is not going to like the way that they said this. Basically, they like were calling me a scumbag. They were saying that I was like a bad guy, like a villain in this story. And the comments on their video were insane. I mean, people just telling me like I'm crooked and, you know, calling me all these names. And so I get a letter from the Florida bar letting me know that they're aware of this video and that, I don't know, that like they were starting the discipline process. And so I did a public records request. Who complained? Like, who filed a bar complaint? What does the bar complaint say? There was no bar complaint. Based on the public records request, the video disappeared in their files. And what's interesting is they sent me the blog, and it was like, please explain. And I was like, there's nothing to explain here. I nothing that I said was objectively false. Like, this is my opinion. You don't have the right to censor me at all. And it got really big, and I had to hire one of my favorite bar attorneys, Hank Cox. And if you know, you know, he's a lot of fun.
Hank Cox.
He's a legend in the Florida bar, and he does a lot of defense work. So I fired off a response, and Hank was like, immediately, no, you cannot say this to them. So we did it the proper way, and ultimately it went away. But what was so fascinating is that I found out later that the biggest problem they had with my video was the comments. And I was like,
control the
I
comments.
cannot control the comments. But the Florida bar cares deeply about public perception of lawyers, which is interesting. And I have a draft TikTok right now about someone who graduated from my alma mater, Miss Pam Bondi, who has been lying to the American people about their constitutional rights. And I'm like, if you care that much about public perception, when are you going to say something?
I don't understand how she still has her license. There's so many bar complaints against it. It's blatantly false, like all the stuff that they say.
And that's something...
Take it easy. Take it easy.
This
Take
guy.
it easy.
That's something that I find very interesting, is that if you're going to come after me as like kind of a nobody, you know, I got a couple thousand followers on TikTok, but like I had one video go viral, and it's like the sky is falling, and I get it. I understood it, and I can appreciate that public perception of attorneys, especially personal injury attorneys, does matter. Like we are the good guys, right? Like we're not, PI attorneys are doing God's work, but to continuously allow elected officials who are using their Florida bar licenses to and a platform to lie to the American people and mislead the American people, I find very interesting that they're not at the same time sanctioning those attorneys.
If they're putting out knowingly false information, there should be a consequence.
Absolutely.
Full stop. But there's just not.
The law firms, especially when when Justice Sotomayor says, I worry that law school failed that person, I, as an alumni of Stetson, would like my school to say something publicly. And it's just, again, we're living in some weird times, because I feel like, you know, we have a lot of alumni who are strong, powerful, for lack of a better term, lawyers in the legal community whose voices they probably want to hear that from our alma mater. And I just feel like everybody just feels more comfortable being silent. And I don't love that.
Turning back to social media for a second, you get I would assume a lot of cases and things where people reach out to you for every issue. Mm-hmm. How do you handle that?
I was just talking to text a response to a lady who shared, you know, it's interesting that social media is a blessing and a curse, because people you want to build a relationship with people on social media. You want to get them to like you, trust you, which is great. Problem is that sometimes people trust me so much that they literally share their deepest, darkest secrets with me. And I don't know where they are, where they're located. So I've learned that you can say anything to anyone. It's the way that you say that. And so I've gotten really good at making sure that I'm saying, I'm a lawyer, I'm not your lawyer, you know, putting my disclaimer into my responses. But I also believe in empowering people to find an attorney. And so I always encourage people, like, reach out to an attorney in your area. This is the type of lawyer you're probably looking for. Like, Google that for your area, because I want people to get legal help. I want them to have access to justice.
People want to have a response. We have to, first of all, let them know, I'm not your lawyer.
Mm-hmm.
You have to lawyers let them know, or else they think that you are, and you can get in trouble for that. And what I do now is say, hey, that's not my practice area. Here's my AI intake number. Yes, it's artificial intelligence. They're going to try to find the best lawyer for you.
Yeah.
And then it was built the automation for it to happen.
That's amazing.
Put the disclaimer on it. But we literally put that every single time people DM, because we don't handle those practice areas.
Right.
I mean, you get a lot of
I've
calls.
had clients, I've had people that called me and I talked to them and I tell them, it's not a case we can handle, we can't help you. And then
They call back a month later. What's going on with my case? It's like,
That's a problem.
what are you talking about? They think they hired you just by talking to you.
Yeah, I mean, we're dealing with that today. Or you tell them no and they feel like you owe them something. And again, these people are dealing with the worst day of their life, and I try to be very empathetic to that. They don't know what to do, and it's wild to me that the consumer really I feel like we've gotten to the point where there's so many options that they just don't know where to go.
It's like the cheesecake menu. So many options to know what to do.
Yes.
So we're going to send you off with a drink. I think we had one more drink coming for Miss Schott once we get a moment. What was the second one that you liked? Not the cucumber infusion, but you had another.
There was another. It's basically a vodka soda, but with fancy stuff.
Yeah, it was the last one on that specialty list. I mean, it did look very good.
It looks good. I love some vodka.
Yeah, Mauro's just been enthralled with the bartender flipping bottles back there like it's cocktails and dreams.
Very impressive. Very impressive.
That's very good. Yeah, so I mean, do you practice in Georgia too, or are you just Florida?
No, I am only licensed in Florida. I think a long-term goal would be to either have a Georgia office, Georgia location, or just go ahead and take the Georgia bar. But, capacity.
Georgia doesn't have reciprocity either?
They do
Florida does
with
not waive
other states, but not with Florida. I would have to take the Georgia bar. And I might be able to waive in. I think I told someone earlier that this week marks 15 years since I was sworn in. So I think I'm at like the place where I could probably just do character and fitness and get in.
This guy knows a little bit about that. He just aced the moral character application in Oregon.
Very nice.
Aced it.
Cheers to that.
Yeah, they made me take the MPRE in Oregon to waive in. I've waived into other bars and no one asked me to take the MPRE.
Thank you very much.
So they said, well, you can get your
you.
score from when you took it when you first got your license. And I took it in 1998. So the MPRE didn't even keep the scores past 1999. So I had to retake it. And I took it and I was telling Bob, I studied for like 2 hours and I was like,
I was with him the night before, and
Yeah.
there was no condition.
I
He
went to a
forgot he
party
had
the night
test.
before my MPRE.
and I
There's
took
photos.
it and I got a 100 scaled score.
That's amazing. I didn't
Yeah.
get 100, but I
I can't
passed.
believe it. I couldn't believe what my score when I saw it. I was like, wow. But
I mean, look, I have so much respect for attorneys who are working hard, being ethical, and if the MPRE, if you get 100, then that just tells me you're a really good lawyer.
yes.
Or he does the opposite of what his heart says to do.
I mean, look, you at least know what you're supposed to do. That's
I know.
the start.
I know the right answer.
Perfect.
Yeah, the only
Follow your heart.
whenever I'm getting another bar license right now, they need to go through the background check, and there was one. So I had been reported for the State Bar of California one time, and I forgot about it. I looked, is because somebody reported me for an unethical advertisement, which was on my website, which we don't even advertise. That said we were the winningest law firm of this year, and somebody turned us in for that. We had to show them that it was actually done by verdict search. They showed that we had so many verdicts that year, and had this it was actually given to us.
Yeah.
And they had to well, just make sure you put that on that. Who gave that to you on your website? But somebody actually reported. I should have did the public record. It was so. No one's gonna consumer. I'm not competing for consumer business. It was obviously some competitor.
Yeah.
It was just whatever. It was
Yeah, it's like
BS.
I always have voted #1 lawyer, but then in small print on the bottom it says by my mom.
Well, and that's the thing. We can't actually. We have
that's
rules
true,
against
right?
your website. Yeah. There's actually rules about what awards work. So I always say I'm an award-winning expert lawyer, which, I know the rules. I know exactly what I can say. But, it's really pretentious, and I don't love saying that. But it's marketing. You got to do what you got to do.
All right. Well, thank you for coming on this episode.
Well,
of
she didn't
Bourbon
even try her drink.
I did.
So, yeah.
Hold on. Do you want me to chug it?
What
really
is it
quick?
called?
Bartender?
Mr. Bartender, what's this drink called?
That's the raspberry hay bay.
The raspberry hay bay.
Hay Bay.
Bay.
That's what it was.
Hay Bay.
The Hay Bay.
Do you know about the hay bay?
No. Hey, bae.
You got to get on TikTok.
I don't
You have to
waste
be
my time
chronically
with that
online
stuff.
like me.
I don't waste my time with that.
He's still on his. Are you in his top 6 friends on MySpace? Because that's where he still is.
I'm on MySpace.
I feel
Did you
like I
have
could
Were you friends
reactivate.
with Tom?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Who
Me and
wasn't?
Tom is still my favorite friend.
Yeah. Well, I was like 7 at the time, but I'm sure he was my friend.
This is how far back I go. I had Friendster.
Oh, I had Friendster.
Did you ever remember it? Friendster was the first one of all of them. I don't know how they fucking blew it when they were the first one.
I was dating
it was-
a guy from Yale, and he was like, "Listen, you got to get on Friendster." And then Facebook rolled out, and they had UFL.edu because I went to Florida, as one of like 5 other domains that weren't Ivy. And so I told my whole sorority, you gotta join this thing called the Facebook. And to this day, my friends are like, you're the first person who told me about Facebook.
There's a really cool video, you can find it on YouTube, of the Coachella Festival. I went to Coachella last year with Bob.
I was there.
And
First and
we
only.
might have said it might have been our last one.
My
Because
first and last.
But I've been to Coachella probably 20 times. So in 2005, I went to Coachella, and there's a famous performance by Connor Oberst, who's a singer-songwriter. He goes by Connor Oberst or Bright Eyes. He switches names.
I'm very familiar with Bright Eyes.
Okay, so they talk to him and they interview him in 2005, and he says Coachella's cool, but it's like human connection. It's not like fucking Friendster. And that time,
Friendster.
he says it's not like Friendster. This was before everything else existed.
Yeah.
So it's like a document. Like the only time you ever hear Friendster is if you watch this video.
It was like in and then it was gone.
Yeah, I don't know what happened to
Yeah.
Friendster, but it
Maybe they sold quickly. We don't know. R.I.P. Friendster. Well, thank you for coming on. What's your social media handles? How people find you?
Shannonshot.esq on
So SCHOTT.
SCHOTT. Got the German spelling.
Isn't there like a beer called Shot?
Oh, there's shot glass. There's shot leather. There's a lot. There's a shot who owns a
I mean, there's so,
baseball
you could be.
team.
I don't give
Oh,
a
Marge
shot.
shot.
You're so much.
Yep.
Marge Shot
There's a
from
Fred
the Reds.
shot.
Reds. The Reds.
There's
That's
a
the
judge
best.
shot. There's the Shot School of Law, which is at University of Florida. Yeah, no, there's a lot of us. I'm not related to any of those people, by the way.
Well, there you go.
But-
The original shot.
I'm
OG.
the OG. Yep.
The OG. Well, thanks for watching and
Thank you
listening to this
so much. Thank
episode
you
of
for
Bourbon
having me.
Approved. Thank you, Shannon, for coming on. Thank you for Hip Hop Atomica. Hip Hop Atomica. This is a great venue, great whiskey bourbons. And that's all she wrote.